It's all there. In the House, it is the Commissioner of the Mississippi Department of Corrections, the one and only, the legendary, written by video, books, articles, Burl Cain. Good morning, sir.
Good morning.
Was that a pretty good intro there for you?
It was too good. It's going to cause me problems.
There are a lot of things going on, and I want to start off by just saying, first of all, can you give me some numbers? What do we look like as far as the prison system? How many people we're taking care of right now?
Well, in our prison, we have 17,753 inmates, but altogether, if you count the jails, we're at 19,084. So we're about where we were.
19,084. That is just remarkable. Is that up or down?
It's down a little bit actually. So that's good. We got to 20 at one point there. So we're back down. So that's good.
Let's go into a couple of things, and I know one of the things that you wanted to talk about is just to make a plea out there to all of our people across the entire state, as far as considering a job at the prison system for officer recruiting is going on strong.
It is, and the pay is good. We start you off at $40,392, so you got a $40,000 job. Add related benefits to it, insurance and all the retirement, you sitting at $50,000. So this is a good job, and we are gaining ground recruiting, which is helping us with DOJ.
Is that in every part of the state?
It is. All the prisons pay the same.
And they come to all benefits as far as health care and all of that, health insurance?
Right. You add all that to this $40,000, and that's $40,000 the cash you get. But then the other is going to be the insurance is pitched in and all these things. Basically, there's a little bit of pay for some of that, but not much. But you're looking at a $50,000 a year job.
Men and women?
Men and women.
Let me ask you this: how long does it take? What's the training like? You got to have some training. What are we talking about there?
We're talking about actually about a month, but it's going to be about 2 weeks in the classroom. Mm-hmm. Then there's going to be a week of mentoring. Then we have a whole month that somebody's going to be working with you. So we just don't pitch you in the prison and say, here, go. We're going to keep you safe. And our prisons are really safe now. We don't hardly have any assaults on staff. I don't remember when the last one was. And so
that's good.
It's a safe place to work. It's good, and the inmates are well behaved. And so most of the issues with violence is just about gone. We don't hardly see any of that.
You guys had a symposium, I think it was the latter part of last month, on recidivism and just putting some minds together. What came out of that symposium?
Well, I think the public realized and saw that a lot of the things that we're doing, and our prisons are calmer, that we do have a tremendous workforce. We have worked really hard to get these guys employable. We stepping forward with MagCorps to even do more to get out. Here's the deal. Inmates don't come back to prison for this reason. If you have morality and if you have a job, you're going to have success. If you don't have the job, though, then you have all the morality in the world, then you're going to wind up probably breaking the law to live or eat, and then you're coming back to prison. So the symposium was to show people that we need to work hard, the community and everybody together, to make these guys employable when they come out.
Are we getting there, or are people chiming in? Because, I mean, it's kind of difficult, and I understand where it is. You get a business out there, they need employees. You come and you say, look, this guy was in for this particular crime. It was a felony. He served his time. Give him a shot. It takes some gumption to do that. It's tough.
Well, that's why we started hiring them, because I wasn't gonna ask you to hire an ex-convict or an inmate if I wouldn't hire them ourselves. And so they're very successful working for us in our maintenance department and so forth. So we do have to give people a chance and give them a job.
Is any area of the state lacking in that more so than any other?
No, some of the rural areas, there's just not a lot of jobs, and so that's why we want to work really harder on our work release program to get our inmates to release closer to home and maybe have money in their pocket and then have a job waiting for them, because if they're working the last 2 years in prison on a job, then they should be able to keep the job, hopefully. And so therefore then we break that cycle of you getting out of prison, no job, no money, no nothing, so then you got to rob somebody to eat.
When you talk to your colleagues, which state do you think is doing a better job than we're doing on that?
We're really getting close to the top because some of these things we pioneered ourselves, and so we just came back from the ACA convention where I was a presenter there on the programs that we have, and so the other thing is we finished our third church now at SMCI, broke ground this last week for the one at Marshall, so there's the morality component. That's why we do the churches, and so I really appreciate the governor and the legislature because they support us with this, but also I'm going to plug Mr. David McNair, who is the head of the Prison Chapel Foundation, and I want to thank C-Spire because they've helped us a lot with doing these chapels. But his phone number is 601-622-1126. If you want to make a donation to help build a church in prison, that's where you send it. David McNair.
That is a good thing to do. I want to give that number again before we get through with the interview a little bit later on. But one more time now, and we'll do it again.
Okay, 601 622 1126 1126.
601-622-1126.
Right.
And help build a chapel. Where's the next one coming up?
Well, the next one coming up is going to be at Delta. We've got to move on to Delta and get one for the women there, and that prison is really thriving. We turned it around. It's got the cosmetology school. Those women there are going to come out of there in 1,500 hours with a license to do cosmetology. And there's women all over Mississippi, so there's somewhere you can get a hair place, do it in your house, it's the job.
Have you graduated a class of them yet?
We just started. And so that class is operating now. This is not a pie-in-the-sky deal. This thing is really working. And at the same time, we have the building up and so forth at Mississippi Correctional Institute for Women, MCIW, which is there at Pearl. And we have the building up for the nails training, to do nails and not cosmetology, but the nails and aesthetics. So we're trying to do all we can to get these ladies employed.
You doing that, Commissioner, as far as the guys in the barber school?
The barber school has graduated its first class, and what we've done that I'm real proud of is the barber school teachers that are certified by the Cosmetology Board and Barber Board are inmates that we train to teach other inmates to cut hair. So this is good because we use inmate teachers everywhere we can.
Let me switch on to a couple of other things. The last time we had you on, we talked about the air conditioning. Last year when we were talking about this, I mean, it was constantly over 100 degrees. Where are we as far as the air conditioning is concerned?
We're really down the road good. It's a bit frustrating because at the women's prison, it'll be finished by January, I believe, the whole thing. But what the installers are waiting on the transformers, but then we decided we probably have enough power we can turn them on here in the next month or so, but the transformers are hard to get. So we should have thought further down the road to order those because they want to say that they're not coming until March or April, so we got to make it work now. So they're almost complete. And the same is with the SMCI. We have one third of SMCI will be air conditioned. And at Parchment, what we're missing is Unit 29, but the rest of it is air conditioned. So we've air conditioned a lot of this, and some of it's been with our own dollars, and some of it's been with ARPA money. So anyway, again, kudos to the governor, to the lieutenant governor, the legislator, and for helping, and Senator Polk helping us get the ARPA money to do this air conditioning and so forth and make our prisons more comfortable.
Man, a lot of moving parts going on. Any questions you might have, C-Spire text line 601-879-4395. Back with the Commissioner and more next. All right, let me get back with the good Commissioner of the Department of the Department of Corrections, Burl Cain. I was thinking about this. If you get how long have you been in this business?
Oh, close to 50 years, long time.
So a young man coming in, how did you get into corrections?
Man, just come apply for one of these jobs and we'll hire you. But then, if you have a...
No, I'm talking about you. How did you get into this business?
Well, I got into this business because I have a degree in agriculture, and they had a job running the farms and industries, and I had enough whatever to get there and get the job. So
So it really was the portal to you was agriculture because they were doing agriculture at the prison in Louisiana?
Right, and so I saw the warden had the best job, so I thought he had more fun than me, so when they had a job came open, I applied for the warden. I didn't want to be the deputy warden. I wanted to be the boss, so I got the top job and took off. 13 years in that one, and then 21 at Angola.
We've been doing this for a long time, and I'm constantly amazed because I don't think there's any ever perfect way to run it because it's an impossible task. Anytime they say, hey, young man, you want this job, now here's what I want you to do, is I want you to control these 20,000 people who have committed heinous crimes, who've stolen, who've abused, who've assaulted, and it's just unlike any other agency that exists. It's a tough job, I understand that, but so far it looks like you've got control of it.
I do, and the hard part, you have to tell the people we promote, we want you to change it, don't let it change you, because it'll change you back into the culture that you don't want to have, and so that's been the hardest part. The other is controlling the drugs, and we have to struggle with narcotics dogs. The cost of them, if you buy them, they're like $15,000. They live 7 years, so it's quite an investment. But they're the best thing, really, because technology is good, and we use all that. So anyway, it's a medley of things to control the drugs. That's the problem, and the employees are basically the way they get in.
The follow-up question to that one, Burl, is what has gotten better? Because it looks like everything has gotten worse over the years. I'm just talking about prison industry nationwide. Drugs have gotten worse. There are more different kinds of drugs. There are gangs have gotten worse for the most part on a nationwide basis. But would you agree with that?
I would, but I'd agree that we got a little lax on law enforcement, and there's consequences for your behavior. And when there's no consequences for your behavior, then you behave poorly.
Yeah. And this younger generation, too, we're seeing, I'm not sure about our prison, but it seems like we're seeing younger and younger people going to prison for a long time.
We are, and so that's where we're expanding really more is the youth, the youthful offenders, and so we have to deal with that. But it's to keep them busy. It's just they're teenagers. They act like teenagers when they come to prison, and so you got to keep them busy with lots of activities and lots of things to do and interact with family. But morality, you have to have a lot of morality. Moral people. That's what you want them to be. So that's what we push so hard here, and we're getting at the front of the line with this stuff. And a lot of people are paying attention. For instance, Jelly Roll is going to come to us. I talked to him last week in Nashville, and he said he would come to Parchment when we dedicate that chapel. So
get out of here, Jelly Roll.
Yeah, he's a cool dude. I like him.
Oh man, we've been playing a lot of his music. Him and Teddy Swims, and there's just a whole new genre. And nobody's talking about this, but apparently they've taken over country. But it's not really country, but then again, country's not really country, so nobody cares. Just if it's a good song, they play it. But he's a character.
He really is, and Elon Sassoon, Vidal Sassoon's son, is going to be at the cosmetology school tomorrow at Delta, so he's passing through. So those things inspire the inmates that, hey, we got people looking at us, so let's be good and let's work hard. They'll keep coming.
So I can see where 2 or 3 of these ladies combined open their own place someplace if they could just get the financing.
They can, but it's easy to do because there's ways to do that, and that's some things that we work on is how to get you open, how to get you financed. And so In and Out Ministries is a new thing we're doing, and that's going to be really good. Where when you're 11 months short, that you'll have someone from the community become a mentor for you on email with your tablet, and so then you'll have a touch to the outside in the job.
Let's go back and do a little review to the people of the state as far as where do we stand in good grace or holding pattern or what with DOJ?
DOJ, they're litigating, and so the longer they litigate, the more time we have to repair. And so we're spending $15 million on prison door locks and so forth, just to get everything copacetic that it really works, because we have 3 or 4 prisons that have issues with locks. These things are really expensive. It costs a lot for the locks. Yeah. So litigating gives us time, and we have time. We probably have another maybe a year and a half, and so before we really get down to the wire, and that's going to be good. We're going to be there.
Did we understand that you had some places, some of the cells shut down as far as Parchment's concerned?
I do, but for instance, Unit 17 opens November the 1st, and that's death row, and that's 56 cells that come back online. The death row will move from 29 over to the new death row, and so it's going to be really good. So we gaining some ground there. So
Unit 29 will be death row?
No, it's death row now. So because the old death row was dilapidated, so we rebuilt it. So it's brand new, and so Parchment's doing really good. We're going to have our museum open, expanding that, and they have family day for the kids, and where we bring in the families.
What's in the museum?
The museum is we want to look where we were, so we don't go back, and have the museum to show. And Parchment has a great history, and so. We have a lot of people involved in the museum, and we're going to have it where the old railroad depot was at the front of Parchment, so you can get to it really well and see it. Yeah. We'll have a little cafe in it where people can stop going down the road and eat.
Is the electric chair in there?
The electric chair is there.
Really?
Yes.
What was the name of that thing?
I don't know that one, but what's more exciting to see is the gas chamber. There's a gas chamber there. There's only 3 in the country. There's one that I know of. There's one in San Quentin. There's one in Mississippi that I discovered when I came here. Was surprised. And there's one in Florida. But it's a sight to see. It's a big old deal.
Gentleman I worked with was one of the witnesses for the last on gas chamber. And I remember I went to witness one, and that was on the sedatives. And we were talking, but he had said one time to me, he said, you never want to watch that again, as far as being put to sleep by gas. It was not a pretty sight.
Right. It was bubbling and so forth.
Yeah. But that gas chamber, I forgot the name. If anybody knows the name, it was the name of that chair, that electric chair, and I forgot what it was.
I know the one in Louisiana is named Gruesome Gertie. And
jeez,
he who sat there in gruesome Gertie sits no more.
Did you ever know in your history, and this is a terrible thing to ask, where they did not meet their maker on the first try?
No, not in my world. I've done 9 of them, but we didn't ever have any glitches with it.
All right, let me touch on gangs again before we leave that one. You said, for the most part, you've been taking some of the gangs and trading them off like trading cards here and there, but is that still underway?
Look, if we find a gang leader and they do this extortion like they used to do, he's going to the Grove. And if he's not careful and he's a leader, he's going somewhere else. I'm trading with South Dakota, and we got our first inmate from there, and he is a Native American. He's a Sioux, and so he came down here with us in the hot weather, and so. But I sent some up to South Dakota, so we trade with different states, and this is good for them and us because you don't want to leave, and so that freaks them out. So the gang leaders are hiding. They don't want us to see them because we'll do something to them. If you extorting somebody and they call home, and I want people to hear this. If you got a son or someone in prison calling you to send you money, you got to call us because we'll put a quietus on that. We do not tolerate that anymore. And so that's the way we're killing off the gangs. The gangs are pretty getting depleted around here. You don't see the activity at all, hardly.
Burl, is that a temporary relocation or is that permanent through the life of the sentence?
It can be through the life of the sentence. Go. You're gone. See you later. You'll have a new life in a new world. If you want to be causing us the blues here in our prison, then they do the same thing.
Real quickly, when we come back, I want to ask you about contraband, and we'll go over that phone number again. If anybody wants to donate a few bucks to a prison ministry to build a chapel, it's a great idea. All that, last segment, coming up next. You didn't have a major star doing a song in Louisiana. You do in Mississippi with Parchment Farms and Bobby Gentry, so there you go. We've gotten probably 3.5 pages of The Reckoning by John Grisham mentions Old Sparky as the first portable electric chair in the history used by the Mississippi State Penitentiary, the Netflix series, Old Sparky.
He sparks, all right.
That's even scary to say. Old Sparky, so there you are. All right. I did want to mention the contraband. Is what how's it look as far as contraband is concerned?
It's way down too. We're down on that. We search a lot and find a lot, and we have some really good rules. Walnut Grove has a little over 400 inmates there, and the governor did a great thing when he gave us Walnut Grove, because then I had a place to go with the gang leaders and so forth. Mm-hmm. Those are bad dudes, and so if you get caught with a killing weapon in our prison, you've heard me say this before, you just bought a ticket to the Grove and you're not coming back. And so if you have killing weapons, then you can't be living in our prison. So that keeps people from wanting to have one or hide them and keep them away from them, because they don't want to leave and go there. Because you lose out a lot of privileges when you go to the Grove.
Is it maxed out over there, or do you still have some room?
Oh, no, we have plenty of room. So we just still rocking and rolling. We cycle some of them back out, not the ones with the killing weapons, though. They can't come out. The gang leaders can come out.
Do you have an arts and crafts show over there recently, or somewhere I saw?
Well, you just asked a good question, because what Mississippi doesn't do is they have a law that inmates can't sell. Yeah. And so we're going to work real hard at the next session of the legislature so inmates can sell, because if you want to paint and do arts and crafts and so forth, then we need to have those little roadside sales, and we do that, or could do it, but they can't sell it. So if you paint a painting and somebody wants to buy it, well, you can't sell it. We can control that and control that it's not out here selling stuff all up and down the road. We have to sell it with a process, but we need to change it so we do have a process so they can sell stuff and stay busy.
The taxpayers take a stipend of that, or a little money from that? Or?
We would really rather let him pay his state and local taxes, and then and then we would like him to do that. We'd like him to have enough money left over so he could buy his supplies, and then we're teaching entrepreneurship. So why don't we teach entrepreneurship? That's important.
Let me tell you, I did that a long time ago, just to give it away, and the price of paint is expensive.
That's right.
As far as artists are concerned.
Well, any businessman knows he's going to have what he can to restock him supplies, and he learns to be a businessman right here in prison.
All right, rodeo. I got 1,000 people asking me about the rodeo. Where is it on the rodeo?
It's doable, and but again, it's doable. But we have to be sure that that's what the public wants. That's what the politicians want, and we can do that, and we pretty well could do it, before I leave, obviously, and so it's doable. We just gotta get the will to do it. So that's where we are.
Wait a minute. What do you mean? What do you mean before you leave? Have you is that in the back room of the mine, or?
No, but I'm working for the governor, so when he's gone, and I'll probably be gone, and you governor probably run me off. So we'll.
But that's going to be interesting, too, because if that law that I was so against sticks, where the new governor can appoint somebody else, well, this is different because it's not a board, but it can happen as far as you're concerned anytime. I understand that. Right. But you don't have a contract that just goes to the term of the governor, right?
No, I have a contract that says any day they want me gone, he can fire me. But he doesn't, and that's good. I'm happy. I'm trying to work hard for him, so... He's been a good governor. Look, he's treated us good, and he's supported us. But the legislature has as well. And, the lieutenant governor has, all of them have. And I mentioned Senator Polk with the ARPA fund. So we've been treated well, and we've had the ability to really make the change they wanted.
You're funding up or down as far as the last legislative session?
Funding's up. It's up because they're giving us money to repair and rebuild. We're making up for all the years they didn't fund it and getting it right. And it's right. It's painted. It looks good. And we don't want to see any roaches, and we don't want to see any mice. So we got all that going.
I don't think people understand this. Or we all have a short memory. But when the governor came in, one of the things he had to handle as far as the prison system was chaos. Remember the fires and everything else?
Yeah.
I mean, it was a lot of stuff going on. So, Commissioner, we thank you, sir. We thank you for taking the time. Let me give that number one more time. 601-622-1126 if you've got a few bucks and you want it to help build a church, which will be there a long time, and it's a great ministry. 601-622-1126.
And our website, go there if you want to apply for a job.
And the website is?
The website is MississippiPrisonCorrections.com.
You got it. Thank you, sir. Appreciate it very much.
All right.
Burl Cain, the Commissioner of Mississippi Department of Corrections. We've got more coming up.